Harry's horrible hypocrisy. The Duke of Sussex and his wife Meghan Markle stand accused of wild double standards as they lecture the world about online safety for children, whilst publicising their children through Instagram, turning their young kids into total global celebrities, all whilst they're worried about the impact of the internet on young people. Make it make sense. Now, Harry and Meghan have released a fresh message via their Archewell Foundation, focusing on the challenges that young people face growing up in an online world. First of all, can we deal with the name Archwell? It's very strange that they named their charity after their first child. Archie was a few months old when this charity was born, and they give that child's name to their major charitable enterprise. It's going to turn Archie into as much of a narcissist as his parents are. It's a strange thing to do. You must not bestow fame upon your children. You shouldn't put pressure on their shoulders. And the fact that this kid is carrying corporate intellectual property off his own back at the tender age of 2 months old is deeply unethical and deeply wrong. Welcome to the Sussexes. So the Archwell Foundation focuses on the challenges that young people face in an online world. Now, the Sussexes say the motivation behind their work remains the safety of their two children, and they hope to create a digital space that is healthier and more humane. What do Harry and Meghan know about any space that's healthy and humane? They are the most toxic couple on the planet. They are a couple that have peddled lies about the royal family, characterised Britain as a horrible, intolerant hellhole. Meghan has thrown her own father under the bus and cast him into, basically obscurity. The guy lives in the Philippines now in a high-rise overlooking a 7-lane highway. It's obscene. What do these two know about anything that's healthy or humane? They are unhealthy because they are so toxic, and they are not humane. They are inhumane. The cruelty of accusing an unnamed member of the royal family of racism. And now suddenly this couple are moral arbiters, right? They are holier than thou, willing to pronounce about the dangers of the world and how dark the world is. Well, the world is dark over in that Montecito mansion, with those two planning their next assault on William and Catherine and King Charles and the British people and the monarchy itself. It's truly obscene. And they've got such a brass neck, right? There is no self-awareness. There is no sensitivity, and there's also no brain power. They're incredibly stupid for having done this because they put their heads above the parapet. By the way, in just a moment, I've got another mega story for you, which is Meghan in hot water with Pamela Anderson, the model. Another example of Meghan's outright thievery. She's stolen something. You've got to hear all about it. You won't believe it. But anyway, we'll come to that. In this statement, the Archwell Foundation, why couldn't they just call it the Harry and Meghan charity? Why do they have to deify their 2-month-old son before the kid can even speak, right? He hasn't even got teeth that he can sink his teeth into a biscuit yet. And he's a global celebrity. It should be the Harry and Meghan Foundation. I'll tell you why they called it Archwell. Because they are self-indulgent narcissists. They're both wild egomaniacs. And so what they're doing is they are imposing that on their child. It is, what do they call it when you put the thing that you are onto someone else? Projection. Thank you so much. Thank you for the music, the songs I'm singing. Really, that's what it is. It's projection. And it's ironic that when Meghan talks about making the world a better place and being kind, and when the couple talk about making the internet a healthier and more humane place, what they're doing is they are just imposing, like in a mirror image of what they actually are. So whatever they say is the opposite. So when Meghan talks about kindness and family and friendship, she means the opposite, which is discarding your family, getting rid of your friends. Piers Morgan, the lovely Canadian daughter of, basically Meghan had this best friend, and her name was Jessica Mulrooney. And she is Canadian royalty, and I love Canada. What a country. Amazing people. So many Canadians watching the Mark Dolan show. May God bless you. And the way that you do a Canadian voice is you have an American voice and then you just close most of your mouth. So you want to become Canadian, you just do that. It's so easy, it's very simple. Canadian, American. Canadian, American. It's very special and it works every time. So, let me say just this. Jessica Mulrooney is such a lovely lady and she's a beautiful girl and she's Canada royalty because her father was it Brian Mulrooney, Prime Minister of Canada for a while? I think it was Brian. It was a Mr. Mulrooney. I think it was Brian Mulrooney who was Prime Minister of Canada. So she's dripping in pedigree, unlike Meghan. My husband, I don't have any pedigree at all. You're welcome. But she surrounds herself with people with pedigree because Meghan is a parasite. She sucks the blood out of other people. She is a modern day Count Dracula. I want to suck your blood. You're welcome. And I kind of go into rooms really quietly, like you can't hear when I'm nearby, just like Count Dracula. And I'm a count as well. I'm an absolute utter count. You're welcome. So, Jessica Mulrooney, very special lady. There's a bit of some ridiculous race row that wasn't, some politically incorrect thing. We'll get into the weeds of that on another show. But somehow Mulrooney, that was it. Jessica invoked, do you know something? I can't remember the full story. But what happened is that the press accused Jessica Mulrooney of sort of using Meghan to defend accusations of racism, saying that, Meghan is a mixed race friend of mine. And at that point, it was something along those lines. And I'll give you more detail. Will you forgive me? Let me say justice. Will you forgive me not giving you the detail? But it was basically some kind of whiff of a race scandal that was not a race scandal, okay, around Jessica Mulrooney. And I think she mentioned her friendship with Meghan by way of defense, as you would. And at that point, Meghan just cut her adrift. That was it. It was over. Mulrooney was gone. Faster than you can say, my husband. Mulrooney, gone. Out. Nada. A bientôt. À tout à l'heure. Auf die Treppe schnell. A lot of people are saying, what does auf die Treppe schnell mean? It means, I'll be honest, it's gobbledygook. It means nothing. I think it translates as up the stairs quickly. But I just like how it sounds. Auf die Treppe schnell. Did you know? Didn't you know I'm not Meghan Markle anymore? Did you know that Phil Collins, who I consider to be a genius, what a musical artist. I'm going to get by the Harry and Meghan's hypocrisy. It's coming, don't worry. And an amazing story about Meghan stealing something from Pamela Anderson. But I've just got to tell you this Phil Collins thing, which is that he was a genius. Did you know that there are just 3 musical artists in the world that have sold 100 million records as a solo artist and another 100 million records in a band? Imagine that. Imagine selling 100 million records twice. Once as a solo artist, 100 million. Once in a group, 100 million. Is that not amazing? There are just 3 people who have done it. And they are Paul McCartney. Oh, hello, I'm Paul McCartney, peace and love. And I love Nancy's my wife, and she's a billionaire, which is a good idea because the last wife took me to the cleaners, She took millions, Can't buy me love. No. Listen, I must not, can I say I must not sing? And please remind me in the comments, never sing Beatles songs because it will cost me £1 billion. And it will bankrupt the Mark Dolan show. We can't have that because we are a fast-growing media brand and we must absolutely prevail. And I don't need a court case with Sir Paul McCartney. Peace and love, Mark Dolan, but you do owe me £100 billion for singing Can't Buy Me Love. No. Paul was clever. He married Nancy Chevelle, who's a very rich lady, a rich American lady. And you need to do that when you're Paul, because Paul's a billionaire. And you've got to be worried about the gold diggers. I mean, I can't think of any gold diggers, can you? My husband! Anyway. So Paul McCartney sold 100 million records as a solo artist, as Paul McCartney Paul McCartney. And then the other 100 million, of course, and plus would have been the Beatles. So he did it. The other person that's done it is Michael Jackson. Less said about him, the better. But the Jacksons, Jackson 5, and also solo, 100 million records. And there's one other person that's done it. Elton hasn't done it because he's never been in a band. Solo, Elton's done very well. In the direction of 400 million records. Oh my God! I beg your pardon, yeah, nearly £500 million, but not with a band. So no, there's only 3 people. McCartney,
oh, peace and love. And, Nancy, she's not after me money, only me good looks, because I'm one of the Fab Four. Paul McCartney, when I wrote Hey Jude. Did you know that Paul McCartney starts every sentence with, when I wrote Hey... can I tell you something? This show is about Harry and Meghan's hypocrisy. We don't have time for this. Why? I love you. I love you so much. Okay. But why do you do this to me? Why do you interrupt and, chip in with these remarks and these questions? We're all busy. By the way, what about my view? Don't you think it's lovely? That is glamorous East London. And I'll actually throw the camera around in a second. Could do it now, couldn't I? This is the Shard, which is a stunning building designed by Renzo Piano, the legendary Italian architect. Oh, look, you've got a bit of a sunset over there. Let me get you the top of the Shard. Look at that. Isn't that nice? I shouldn't really move the camera because whenever I move the camera, something goes wrong then and I need a passerby to fix a problem that I've created. I think we're all right there. Let me just check the shot quickly. It's a lovely view though, isn't it? Go on, I'll do a quick zoom. That's Docklands. Right, let's get back to business. We've got work to do. So, I think I have zoomed myself back to normality. Right. Everything's all kicked off now. Let's just fix everything. Right. The third person that sold 100 million records solo and with a band is Phil Collins. So he sold 100 million records with Genesis and he sold 100 million records as Phil Collins. I consider him a genius. How did we get onto that? How on earth did we get onto Phil Collins, who is a genius? Well, he's in very poor health now. He's got lots of injuries from drumming and stuff like that. I don't even know why we're talking about Phil Collins. Yikes! And I've remembered why I raised the issue of Phil Collins. People used to say to me, or have said to me, what does auf die Treppe schnell mean? And I like the sound of it. Did you know that when Phil Collins composed a song called Susudio. Do you know that song? It was a big hit, #1 in lots of countries. Susudio. That was simply because Phil Collins writes songs without lyrics first. So he writes a song just with sounds, like sort of do 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 ba 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 ba. That's how he writes. And once he's got the notes down, he then adds the lyrics afterwards. So it always starts ba 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 woo 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 yee yee yee. That's right. And he had this thing, which is, he was making this sound for a new song, and he just kind of went, su, 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 studio, su, 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 studio. Now, what he's going to do later is kind of add words like, I love you, which, by the way, wouldn't be bad, would it? Shall I send that to Phil? Dear Phil Collins. Anyway, bottom line is that he couldn't find the right lyric to fit that, so he decided just to keep Susudio in. It's not a word, it didn't mean anything, it was a mega hit, so what do I know? So that's why, a bit like Phil Collins, I'm very much like Phil Collins. I do the Auf die Treppe schnell because I like how it sounds, it makes very little sense. Auf die Treppe schnell! Right, so, in this statement, okay, we're talking about Harry and Meghan here, and their deep concerns for the safety of young people online, even though Meghan puts her children on Instagram on an almost daily basis. And what she does is she puts a strange heart in their face, which I think is insulting, and I think it creates more curiosity from bad actors out there that might wish harm, may God forbid. The other thing they do is have pictures of the kids from behind. Again, it's creepy. It's like Meghan is stalking her own kids. What she is doing is papping her own kids, right? She is the paparazzi of her own kids. So they dare to talk about a safe internet world, keeping children protected from social media, and then she parades the kids for clicks. Why? Because no one's watching the TV show. Why? Because no one's listening to the podcasts. Why? Because no one's buying the products on, as ever, my website, which has actually no products apart from some tea bags, strawberry jam, and flour sprinkles, and lavender towels, which are damp and they go into the refrigerator and they're a higher hazard. So Everything she's doing is turning to mud. And therefore, have you noticed that when things aren't going well professionally, Meghan brings in the kids? That's what she does. She's cynical. She knows what she's doing. She's not stupid. She's nobody's fool. So, but this couple, I mean, they go around the world. They preach about global warming in a private jet. And they are multimillionaires. Multimillionaires have a big carbon footprint. Being rich equals a big carbon footprint because you're a consumer. Your house is big. Your car is big. Your airplane is big. Your dinner is big. Your clothes are big. Everything is big. And they live in a massive mansion in Montecito, which requires air conditioning in the summer and heating for a couple of months in the winter. And you've got a swimming pool. These guys are massive gas guzzlers. Meghan's got a carbon footprint the size of a Yeti. So, and I would say that Meghan is less scary than Yeti. A Yeti is more scary than what's more scary, a Yeti or a Meghan? let me know. Imagine if you're camping in Yosemite National Park, right? And there's either kind of a massive hairy creature like that, right, coming near your tent, right? Is that scarier, or just the sound of my husband is Harry, I call him H, and I put flour sprinkles on the food, which are actually, in Mark Dolan's opinion, toxic, hallucinogenic, and you're not supposed to eat flowers. I take the Yeti. I would take the Yeti. In fact, I would invite the Yeti into my tent on the camping trip, and he can share my sleeping bag rather than me having to spend a nanosecond in the company of, didn't you know I'm Meghan Markle? No one asks me how I'm feeling, which is really unfair because I'm a multimillionaire, former princess and world famous, having had a privileged life with my father working in lighting design in Hollywood, and we never went for anything. I had a very, very comfortable childhood with acting classes and expensive private schools and a expensive North American university education. But then I decided that actually I had a poor childhood and I was living under a trailer and I used to have to eat straw just to survive. So, they are wild hypocrites. In this statement, the couple highlight findings from the foundation's latest insight. I mean, what do you think about Archwell? I'm already triggered by the name. And by the way, I'm not having a go at Archie, right? I feel sorry for him. I think it's deeply wrong. It's deeply, deeply unethical what they've done. Anyhow, so this Archwell Foundation. So in the statement, the couple highlight findings from the foundation's latest insight sessions, now in their third year, how exciting, which draw on conversations with 106 young people aged 10 to 25 from Australia. I like Meghan Markle. She has a robust immune system and an excellent calcium to enamel ratio in her teeth. Australia, Canada, Panama, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The foundation says these interviews reveal a generation trying to make sense of a digital landscape unlike anything before it, with young people describing today's online world as overwhelming, confusing, and overstimulating. One participant from the US summed up the confusion many feel. There's so much stuff being pushed at you that you don't know what's true and what's not. Does that sound familiar? So much stuff being pushed at you and you don't know whether it's true or not. We got married 3 days before the wedding in a yard with the Archbishop of Canterbury. It is wild. This is a couple that talk about misinformation when their interviews and Harry's book Spare and the documentary series are a pack of lies. You couldn't make it up. The study also highlights anxieties among older teenagers. By the way, little Archie and Lily, good luck to them, right? It's not their fault. I'm sure they're really sweet kids. But is it just me? But what a hot mess they're going to be when they're teenagers. Yikes. Raised by Harry and Meghan. I don't know what they're going to be like. Well, the kids will have to be respectful to their mother all the time. Little Lily will be like, Mummy, you're so amazing. And I really like my dad, who we call H, or my father. And then little Archie.
Oh, hello, Dad. It's really unfortunate. I seem to have gained all of your traits. I'm incredibly miserable. I'm the world's least happy heir to a millionaire. And it's really, really dull and boring. And I really wish my dad was King William, because it's really good to have a cool king dad. I just think he's a bit more of a rock star than you are, you know?
The whole thing is crazy. The Sussexes warn that AI-driven misinformation risks eroding trust in politics, the media and public life. Who do they think they are? They honestly think that they are Bill and Melinda Gates, don't they? They think they are Michelle and Barack Obama. I'm Barack Obama. Since I stopped being president, Michelle's not happy. She gave up 8 years. She's always moaning. It's not great. I'd rather be back in the White House. Barack Obama. Poor Barack. I admire Michelle Obama, but by God, does she moan? Oh my God. The latest thing was about her hair or something. She was complaining how long it takes to do her hair. This isn't just thrown together. This is 2 hours, baby. You're welcome. You're welcome. Their message closes with a call for collaboration rather than blame. I mean, this material writes itself. The solutions are within reach, they say, especially when we recognise that young people aren't a problem to be fixed. They are essential partners in building the digital world that we all deserve. I have no words. It's crazy, and they have no self-awareness whatsoever, which is why we're able to talk about them on the Mark Dolan show, because people who aren't self-aware are very funny, they're very entertaining, and they're very easy to call out. But next up, before we go, this is huge. This is absolutely huge. Meghan Markle's latest appearance in Harper's Bazaar puts the idea of authenticity front and centre. We talked about it in the previous show. Brilliant rock star writer, Caitlin Greenidge. Meghan thought she was going to get a softball interview, almost like a corporate piece, you know, just slavishly polite. No. Caitlin Greenidge took Meghan down and took her down to Chinatown. It was a crushingly embarrassing piece in Harper's Bazaar, including the revelation that Meghan and this journalist are just sat in a room, and then some courtier walks in and goes, no, sorry, correct that, sorry. The journalist, Caitlin, and then one other person is in the room, and the butler comes and says, ladies and gentlemen, mesdames et messieurs, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. She gets someone to announce her, even though there's no one in the room. So that was revealed in the article. Can you imagine how angry Meghan was about that? How dare Caitlin Greenidge write that about me? That's so unfair, saying true things. How dare she say true things about me? She's on the list, alongside Thomas Markle, Jessica Mulrooney, Piers Morgan, Mark Dolan. He's the worst. Mark Dolan is the worst. So, Greenidge revealed all of this stuff, and she talked about, you know, in this article, pursuing a life and career that felt authentic to her. Poor old Meghan has not got an authentic bone in her body. She is as authentic as a dead goldfish. She tells the magazine there's no such thing as perfect, which is a perfect excuse for her rather unsuccessful broadcasting and business career. All of these things, of course, we've covered in the show. They're all very embarrassing. That's fine. But something else happened, because the photography in the article, which was very stripped back, you know, she's not wearing any makeup, has reignited a long-running feud between Meghan and the fabulous Pamela Anderson, who is a model, actress. She was in Baywatch, which is one of my favourite documentaries about the seaside. What a lifeguard she was. And the number of, you know, people talk a lot about, because Pamela Anderson used to wear a swimsuit. She's a very curvaceous lady. She's a good looking woman, okay? And everyone focused in Baywatch, which is a documentary about safety at the seaside. And everyone focuses on you know, her physique, her lines, you know, her décolletage and everything. And especially when she's jogging across the beach. But when I watched Baywatch as a teenage boy, discovering girls, my focus was, how many lives has she saved? I mean, seriously. Shark attacks, drownings, That was my focus, watching Baywatch. How many lives has this woman saved? She's unbelievable. Anyway, give her the Nobel Peace Prize. So she was an actress. She had some very difficult relationships. She chose the wrong men, which happens to some of the finest ladies. And I'm very fond of her. She's actually super intelligent, and she has started not wearing makeup. She doesn't need to because she's incredibly beautiful. It's my understanding that she's now dating Liam Neeson, who's the wonderful tall Irish actor.
Liam Neeson is Irish, from Northern Ireland. He's a lovely guy.
He's done about 57 Taken films, which is about a kidnapping. The storyline of Taken is that your kids have been kidnapped, and there's been so many kidnappings now. I think we're on to Taken 17, and it's like, Liam, can you just stay home with your kids? Or give them a mobile phone to text you. Dad, it's happened again. I'm in a van with some men of Arabic origin.
I'll get them. I will hunt them down.
Yeah, we heard that before, Dad. This is like the 17th movie. Can you please just stay home and look after us and be our father? Anyway, there you go. There's a relentless kidnapping movie every time. And Liam is a very charming guy. He, tragically, lost his wife. I think her name was Natasha Richardson. She's an actress, was an actress, from the famous Richardson acting dynasty. And this beautiful woman, she and Liam were Mr. and Mrs. Thespian, right? They were like this amazing dream team, glorious showbiz husband and wife, Liam and her. And you know what happened to her? She was skiing. And the strangest thing happened. She wasn't even, at this point when the accident happened, she wasn't actually skiing. She was just, I think she had her skis, but she was in the snow, having been skiing somewhere like Switzerland or France. And she falls. This is God's honest truth. She falls and hits her head. And she feels a bit dizzy, a bit uncomfortable, but then she's like, I'm all right, I'll be fine. And the next day she passed. Can you believe that? Isn't that terrible? Poor, tragic. And such a freak incident. And that's because head injuries, it doesn't take a lot. That's why I'm always saying to Elton and Bernie, my sons, whose names I've changed for their privacy, which Meghan and Harry don't care about for theirs. But I always say to Elton and Bernie, just that your head is so precious, because, God forbid, you can break your leg, but that can heal. But the brain, precious. So look after your brain, and your eyes, your ears, and your skull, I think would be some of the key, and the spine. It's a shopping list of things, isn't it? I like Meghan Markle's spine. It's an excellent shape. I like the structure of the vertebrae, which are nicely interlinked. And she has a robust set of nerves that run through the spine. So, but yeah, anyway, she fell and she got a bleed on the brain or something like that. And it was undiagnosed, obviously, the poor woman, and she passed. I think they got a couple of kids and everything. Tragedy. Can you imagine what he went through? And it's very, very sad. But anyway, so there really is no time to be discussing this. But, oh yes, no, actually it's relevant. It's relevant because now Liam Neeson has found love with Pamela Anderson. And they were starring together in a comedy movie called The Naked Gun, and I'm very happy for the two of them because he's been unlucky for obvious reasons and she's had the wrong men. He's a lovely guy, very rich, world famous, incredibly good looking. He's about 70 now and he looks 53. It's unreal. And she looks young as well. She looks incredibly young, and that's because she's a natural beauty. She looks after herself. She's Canadian, did you know that? And she has a cookery show. And it was very popular and everyone loved it, and people feel like Meghan copied the cookery show. And this would not be unusual because Meghan copies stuff, she steals stuff. So she had a podcast called the Diary, no, what was it called? It wasn't called Diary of a CEO, it was Confessions of a Female Founder, right? That was the name of her podcast. Well, that name existed already, hosted by someone that was actually a successful female founder. So she's taken that name and made it her own. Then she's got the As Ever brand, which is her disastrous online portal for flower sprinkles and lavender towels, which I make them damp and they go in the refrigerator, which is a fire hazard. Auf die Treppe schnell. Zu Studio. And so As Ever was the name of a beautiful New York clothing store. Right? As Ever, they're still there. They're in New York and they have beautiful clothes, right? Lovely garments, I think for ladies. And As Ever, this company, As Ever, were devastated because now this rather famous woman has taken their name for her own company. And then there was a fury about the logo, the branding for As Ever, which then a small town in Spain said, that's our logo. And they said, unfortunately, we're a small local town. We don't have the money to sue the Duchess. But she took their logo, or they allege that she took their logo. There's a theme emerging here. Then she does a cookery show exactly like Pamela Anderson's. And now she goes makeup free. And I promise you, I'm not copying Pamela Anderson, but I did do her TV cookery show identically, and I'm going into fashion magazines and going makeup free, and I go on podcasts makeup free, just like Pamela Anderson. Just think, by the way, how many lives did she save in Baywatch? Oh, this little toddler in the sea, and mommy, I can't breathe, and then she comes running along in her swimsuit and saves another life. It's a shocking pattern. Meghan takes stuff. She took Harry. She's thieving. She stole Harry from the royal family. She stole Harry from the people of the United Kingdom. She stole Harry from Britain. She stole Harry from us. She stole Harry from me. Because I am Britain. I am the representation of the United Kingdom. But she did. If you think about it, she took Harry, didn't she? She went over there. She's a magpie. Magpie is the bird that steals stuff, right? And that's what she is. She's a little magpie. And she just grabs things when they're useful to her. And then, of course, lets them out of her long beak when she needs them no more, such as Jessica Mulrooney, Trevor Engelson, Piers Morgan, Thomas Markle Sr., Thomas Markle Jr., Samantha Markle. All of those people. So it's a shocking thing. Pamela Anderson, should she sue? I don't know. I don't think so. I think Pamela should be amused at Meghan's copycat behaviour. Meghan's, what's that posh word when you copy something? Like a counterfeit thing. Plagiarism. That's what she is. One social media user wondered whether the barefaced portrait was meant to echo Anderson's viral appearance at Paris Fashion Week in 2023, when the actress attended makeup free and was praised for championing natural beauty. Is this supposed to be like the Pamela Anderson going makeup free iconic moment? One person wrote on X. This is not going to go well for Meghan, I am afraid. How right they are. The truth is that Meghan has not had an original thought in her brain. But I will say she gives us something to talk about. Guys, it's been so great to chat. I've got to run. Hope you enjoyed the show today. Please like and subscribe. And you must hit the reminder bell, because I do so many emergency videos. And my emergency video about Sarah Ferguson selling her story to an American TV network, it's gone pretty viral. It's approaching 100,000 viewers now. So what you need to do is you need to hit the notification bell. Please subscribe. I want you to subscribe because then you're around the table. You have a seat at the table. You're on the board and you've got voting rights. So we'll do all of that. And what else do we say? Oh, a big show tomorrow. Cannot wait. Already sitting on some big stories. I hope you're having fun. Let me know what you like about the show. Let me know what you don't like. This show belongs to you, right? And the comments are not part of the show. The comments are the show. And I can't wait to see you very soon. It will be tomorrow, 24 hours. Enjoy London. Look at that lovely, got the trains. That's a train station. That is London Bridge. Can you see the trains? Choo-choo. And then look at this. I mean, it's pretty exciting, actually, this, isn't it? Look at London town. Let's go back up the Shard. Amazing skyscraper. And then this is the scary bit. This will bother my mother, who doesn't like heights. Look at the drop. Yikes!